Man, we definitely got to get into it. It broke down yesterday. It happened. It went through. It passed. Talking about the code of conduct and city
Oh,
council. Yeah, man. Yeah. You ain't know where I was going. Yeah. That's what we're talking
hot
about.
mess.
Hot mess. Yeah. Again, I'll start with this. Teamwork is still making the dream work, man. Shout out to Guillermo Pena. Shout out to Brother Sherman Wells. Guillermo again posted the video of the city council. Streaming the city council meeting on Friends of First Sky. So if you want to go back, you can do that on the Facebook group page.
Nice.
But yeah, man, that's teamwork really making the dream work. The dream of citizens coming together and being the fourth estate, being the watchful eye that the state needs, and keeping holding the powers that be, if you will, accountable. So again, shout out to everybody who was checking that in, tuned in with that situation.
Mm.
Oh man, Anthony Rogers, right? Trying to correct me. He says, stop calling it city council and call it what it is, a kangaroo court. And that's what this new ordinance is kind of looking like. That again, if you haven't caught wind of what's going on or haven't been paying attention to what's happening in the city council, again, there has been some tensions, some controversy, some back and forth between specifically Councilwoman Juanita Johnson, the North Omaha representative, and several other not only council members, but also staff under Mayor Gene Stother. So much so that it's gotten to the point where her staff has actually been instructed to not to be able to not meet with Councilwoman Juanita Johnson. They were excused from meetings that she would be there. They haven't really been communicating well with her or at all again. And now here we are with City Council approving two ordinances just yesterday aimed at regulating council members' conduct, and let's just call it what it is: Miss Juanita Johnson's conduct. One ordinance establishes a code of conduct for council members. It gives the council the authority to discipline members for a variety of offenses, such as using profane language, cashing in on contracts before the council, or sexually harassing, verbally abusing, or threatening city employees. The discipline could range from a public censure to a formal call for resignation, expelling the member from a council meeting, or removing them from committee assignments. Pretty much everything that they've already done to Councilwoman Juanita Johnson. Such action would require 5 votes from the other council members after an investigation. The other ordinance that was passed on Tuesday will ask Omaha voters in November to approve a city charter amendment that would expand the council's power to remove a fellow council member. So again, not only are they looking to be able to discipline fellow council members, but if they're seeking the power to remove that council member, which could, if things continue, lead to the ousting of Councilwoman Juanita Johnson later this year due to tensions. But that will leave one of the most marginalized communities in the city without a city representative. So there you go.
Wow. I was looking at Friends of First Sky Omaha, I believe is on Sherman's page, and he was mentioning, what was going on here is kind of an attack, and it made me think back to that city council meeting that Anthony Rogers Wright told us to make sure we pay attention to. He was there speaking on it. He is like he said right here. He says we are about to witness the living manifestation of white fragility in said kangaroo court. If Miss Juanita blinks at a white employee the wrong way, should be brought up on charges.
Yep.
And I think that is really unfortunate, because I kind of walked away from the situation thinking not going to happen. As a matter of fact, I remember us talking about this that day. There was so much opposition to it. There were so many people that were not about it. There's no way that we thought it can go through. I was surprised to see the article saying that it went through. I watched the proceedings that day. I saw people stand up that were saying, "Listen, we already got things in place for this. It's called voting. You don't need to further police the situation around here."
Mhm.
And it just seemed to me like there was enough people that spoke up and enough opposition to this whole thing for it not to happen. So for it to happen, interesting. Wanda Lewis says, if it passed to go to a ballot vote for the people to decide, we got to remember that part.
Yep.
Be cautious and make sure you read how it will be written on the ballot. They might write it in a way where you might vote for it when you don't want to. So we
Hit you
got
with them double negatives.
yeah, man, for real. So this is not passed yet. It's going to ballot. It's going to a vote. So this is now time for the people, especially the people that spoke up on this in the first place, to vote it down, because that's really what is that's the power is going to be in the hands of the people when it comes to this. So But I feel like they're doing all this. They got all this energy here because they're they don't like how she has been acting and responding to them, and just that paternalism that I can't stand, showing rearing this ugly head again on this because they don't like she can get disrespected all the time in court, but
Man,
she can't defend herself, say nothing back.
because
I'm not
let's
with that.
let's acknowledge the facts. We played the audio clip here on the show. They are belittling her. They are, using a very demeaning tone when they speaking to her, but she can't, I guess, speak up. It kind of feels like the angry black woman trope.
Big time. And
Big time.
for
Big
them to
time.
go through all this mess so that they can police that, crazy.
Again, representation, because I do want to hammer home the point that this isn't just, petty personal beefs with in between council members. If this continues, this is our representation. This is the person that can, speak on our behalf at the city level, and that's being cut short. So we shouldn't just look at it as Juanita Johnson being cut short. We are all being cut short. If we want something to get done on our behalf at the city level, then usually we would go through Councilwoman, Councilwoman Juanita Johnson. She would speak on our behalf, vote on our behalf, maybe try to get in tune with the mayor's staff. All that is done for. All that is done for. And it is very interesting that she was the lone vote against this. Everybody else voted for it.
They want the power to be able to speak up. This is just one of them things that's so blatantly obvious to people outside of our culture. Then I want you to really understand that point. It's so blatantly obvious. White men can come up there and holler and act a fool and do all kinds of stuff, and even within the situation, it's not so much that we agree with everything that she's doing all the time, but she is allowed to speak up and defend herself when she's not being respected in that space, and she's not being respected in that space because of who's in that space disrespecting her. That's why. That's why. You can't really blame somebody getting out of pocket when they responding to your mess. That's gaslighting to be trying to act like she's acting crazy just because she's just angry and acting crazy. She's responding to your treatment. She's responding to your treatment. So
yeah, and we're not the only ones who seeing this. Big shout out to Nebraska Examiner, always getting it right. Cindy Gonzalez, especially doing the good work.
Yep.
Yeah, headline reads: proposal could open door to Omaha City Council ousting one of its own. So again, we're all seeing the writing on the wall. Several people have chimed up, not just us, but also Senator Terrell McKinney put some respect on his name, told the city council that while he does not oppose codes of conduct in government, he believes they should be equitable, clearly defined, and just. He went on to say, while this ordinance may be long overdue, its introduction at this time, considering the current makeup of the council, feels like a targeted effort against a specific council member. This should be frowned upon and not allowed. Senator McKinney saying things just as Senator McKinney could. Again, very eloquent. Also, a shout out to Chat Chimer, friend of First Sky, and community activist, very active. Sister Cheryl Weston was also among opponents who said she viewed the code of conduct as a potential form of voter suppression. Again, our Councilwoman Juanita Johnson was fairly elected by the people of North Omaha, by her district. And now the council is circumventing that and finding a way to rid her because they don't like how she talks. Very interesting. Again,
Cheryl Weston had to speak up during that meeting because they disrespected her while she was standing there talking. She had to get wild on them during the meeting.
So obviously there's certain members of the community that they just don't know how to talk to. So,
Brother Pena in the chat, real quick, I'm just going to highlight him. He says they literally ignore her and treat her like she's a second-class citizen. Just say what they have in their mind. We're too much for them because the flavors that make it go. I like the fact he's always translating stuff that he's saying, but it's he's obviously watching what's going on. He's watching them treat her like she's second-class citizens, treat her like she's not there. People can see this blatantly. So it's a this 6-to-1 thing, the reason why they're going for this kind of total control is messed up. Anthony Rogers Wright says facts, and that's why we need to do away with this BS respectability politics that too many of us black leaders tell us to practice and call out white supremacy when it rears its ugly head. Yeah, like I said, we all got different styles of how we handle things and how we handle stuff, but what we got to handle sometimes is all the same. So I'm not gonna speak against her retaliating to try to gain back some honor and some respect when disrespect is being thrown her way. Not with it. You already know this. We watched this show long enough to know we're not with the disrespect at all.
Man, and it's not even behind closed doors in private. Like they're doing this openly, publicly, without regard, in front of her constituents. Not only did Cheryl Weston have to call them out, but also Brother Sherman Wells had to correct them and call them out. So again, community members are even having to step up and defend their elected official who represents them, who's not getting the respect. So this is ridiculous. But again, it has been passed. Hopefully the voters will have some sense come November and not go as far as give the council the power to oust who it is they feel that they should oust. But again, we will see. Now, as of right now, it will take about 15 days for this ordinance to take place. So we should keep a close eye. If you can make it down to the next city council meeting, I urge you to do so.